What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Investing Bros 3 p.m. live show, and we have got a fun one today. As the title suggests, there's a rumor out there. There's some details going around that could suggest that Apple is buying Bitcoin, but not maybe just a little purchase. Apple might be going in deep. What are the details of that? You got to stick around and find out more. Also, Cardano, you can love him, you can hate him, you can say whatever you want, but something just happened in Cardano that should have been something very negative, but is actually the proof of why Cardano is not just here to stick around, but it's here to thrive. If you guys are excited about today's show, you got to do two things for me. First, smash that like button, comment in chat where you're from. I'm interested where you guys are from, and let's go and hit that intro. All right. T-Shroom in orange today. He's feeling that Bitcoin and Chainlink spirit. The hat, the different choice here. Yeah.
I wore it for username. Hopefully username's tuning in and is excited about Chainlink that I got it going on right there.
T-Shroom, I have a very important question for you. One that I've just thought of on the spot. How are you doing today?
Well, Tim, I'm glad you asked because I'm doing better than I deserve. How are you?
I'm doing very swell. You know, prices are a little bit down today. I'm sure there's a lot of people coming in here wondering what's happening. It's not like prices are crashing by any means. We're definitely still above 60,000 on Bitcoin. But I bet you there's a couple of you out there wondering what the heck is going on. Are we still bullish? Are we back to being bearish? We're going to discuss that and a lot more. You guys got to strap on in. First thing you do, though, and I kind of butchered that intro. I should have said there's multiple things, not just two. You got to smash the like. Comment and chat where you're from. I'm interested in that one. I also want to say you got to get your hydration. You can't join the Bros show and not have a good set of hydration. Today, I am sporting my Brody's Daddy mug, a classic. It's here with me mostly every day. But I got some elements in here. Get some salt. Get some electrolytes in. Had a great workout this morning, but you gotta refuel with food. You gotta refuel with hydration. So you guys go get yourself
hydration.
Some as well.
Hydration is so important. Today I've got a little bit of juice, little limeade juice, and maybe a little bit of energy drink may have found its way in there as well to give it that extra kick.
Sometimes performance enhancing drugs are needed.
That's right. I'm not going to the Olympics anytime soon.
Exactly.
So it's really good, and we actually have been doing some research, bros, on the optimum hydration solution. We're going to be bringing that to you here in just a couple days. We're very excited.
Okay.
Very excited.
Right. I'm excited. I don't even know if I know what that is. I think it's a solo project from T-Shroom. Let's go ahead and get into the bubbles. Let's see what's happening in the markets today. Little bit of a mixed day, but mostly the bullishness is being carried by two AI tokens that are probably days away. Was it July 15th, T-Shroom? Is ASI's merge again? I want to make sure I'm getting that right.
July 15th. That's correct.
July 15th. All right. So we got like 3 weeks, give or take. But AGIX and FET carrying the big green candles today. You're going to notice Caspa is also green. AVAX is green. Aave, Monero, Lido. There's some others here. Not is green. Not majorly green. The two big ones, AGIX and FET, kind of carrying the load here. We do have some big red ones, though. Arweave is down 12%. TIA is down 8%. Brett down 10%. A lot of these coins actually had a pretty big day yesterday. You're going to see Near is down here as well. So is Jupiter. They had a big day yesterday. So it's expected to have some cool-offs. In fact, that's exactly what we're seeing also with Bitcoin and other top-ranked coins. I'm going to get into the charts here in just a second. Really quickly, we do have we have a super chat from CryptoSec Guy. I want you guys to know this is a family show. We do not promote sex tokens. As much as CryptoSec Guy, he can pay us every dollar he has in the world, but we're not going to promote that. I'll read it, but I'm not going to reference what it is, and I hope most of you do not know what this is from. He says, hey, bros, let's spit on that thing today. Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you for the super chat. Let's go ahead and check out the top 10. What are they doing? Like we said, Bitcoin back down below 61,000, but still staying above 60. Where is the level of support that's still holding us up right now? Wait for the charts. We'll be here in just a second. Down 2.3% on the day. Ethereum's down 1.8. BNB down 1.5. Solana 2.7. Let's keep moving on here. XRP's down 1.8. Doge and Cardano, a little bit bigger here than the other top 10, down, both of them over 3%. But you get outside of the top 10, both AVAX and Tron are positive. So when we're looking at those top groups here, it's not necessarily all doom and gloom. And even the ones that are bigger, like Dogecoin and Cardano, they had some decent sized pumps over the last couple of days. So them having a little bit more of a correction is not the end of the world. But now let's get into it. I got a big story. We have a major topic today we got to talk about that is bullish. But before then, let's just focus on what's happening in the charts. I'm going to refresh for anyone who's newer. I saw a lot of people. We had like almost 50 people just waiting for the show to go live. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Again, smash the like. That's free. But if you do enjoy the show, if you enjoy being here in the Bros community, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content. But I want to refresh on the Bitcoin chart for anyone who might be newer here. Bitcoin the other day on that big fall on the 24th fell below a rising level of support. And yesterday, we rallied right back up to it, but rejected this morning. So we are turning effectively this green line, at least temporarily, into resistance. I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying, guys, this is not a bullish sign. I'm not ready to throw in the towel and say, oh, that means we're going way further to the downside. But it is something I just want people to be aware of, is that we did conveniently reject right on a line that was former support. Have we turned it into resistance? We have a couple more days before that finishes, but ultimately, that's a sign that we need to get back up, start rivaling back towards 63, 64, and ultimately there's a level up around 67,000. That's very interesting. But for now, I want you guys to notice we are moving to the downside off of that resistance level. Now, you're going to start asking the question, should we be bearish just yet? And the answer to that question really is no. Here's a couple of reasons why. Stochastics still starting to head to the upside on the daily chart, which is telling us what the next couple of weeks should look like. This is still extremely bullish. The MACD has slightly continued its downward trend, but again, we're back down to levels we hadn't been at since way back during this dip. There's a slight level of divergence right in play right there, so I still believe that's about to turn positive. And then we come over to our Lux Algo Oscillator, the superpower oscillator, as I call it, and we still have not officially gotten our buy signal, but we are moving steps closer to it. We have the green reversals in play. The money flow has not officially crossed above that bearish threshold, but once it does, we've gotten our major bullish trigger with a very, very low oscillator down here at 7. The bullish dot that is printing right there is the sign. All we need to see, and give us maybe another day or two, we're probably going to see the money flow get back above that thin red line right there called our bearish threshold, and that should put us to the side. Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. It's Wednesday, so Caleb Franz is going to be joining us on the show. But as the title suggests, Friday is going to be a very, very important day. First of all, tomorrow morning, we will be getting GDP numbers. How's our economy doing from a numbers perspective? It doesn't really matter what is reality versus the data. We're going to find out a lot of bullish or bearish things based off of data. So what does GDP look like tomorrow? And then Friday, we will have PCE numbers and an options expiry. So there is a massive amount of pressure boiling to the end of this week. Don't be surprised to see Bitcoin continue. If we go back to my chart here and I go back to the price action, don't be surprised to see Bitcoin not make a major move in either direction to the upside or downside until Friday. I think there's a chance if the GDP numbers are favorable, we could get a little bit of a move to the upside. But as a whole, Friday will hold the keys to Bitcoin and crypto making a massive move to the upside or potentially continuing a fall back down to or even lower than $55,000. So we'll talk later on in the show about that. Again, we're going to get Caleb Franzen's thoughts on that as well. So I'm going to save that conversation here for a little bit later. But let's talk about the short-term Bitcoin price action because, again, we rallied here. We dipped all the way down the other day to 58,400, give or take. But we found a lot of support right there. The volume increased, showing the bulls came back in. And after rallying back up as high as 62,400, we're falling here a little bit. But I want to show you guys what we are falling to. Did we on the hourly chart hit a sell order from Luxalgo a couple of candles ago? Yes, we did. Sorry, the 1 hour chart. But take a look at what's happening here on the 1 hour chart. We have ourselves a very strong bullish order block as well as this blue cloud. It's called a smart trail, major support. It's very, very common for us to fall down to these levels. And you'll notice, despite the fact that we have a sell order from Luxago on the screen, our take profit is still up above us. Well, this is a little bit of a change up I have for anyone who uses Luxago. I, at the moment, have my take profit stop loss levels set on the smart trail flashing. So I'm not looking at when the signals flash. If I had that on, we have take profits here back down towards 60,300. But as I believe that this order block and the smart trail are a very significant level of support, when I change my take profit to the smart trail, this now is suggesting the bounce off of this smart trail could enter a buy signal that could send the price up to around 62,600, maybe even as high as 63.6, getting very close to an hourly major bearish breaker block up here around 64,000. So in the short term, meaning the next 12 to 24 hours, we are looking like we're coming into support. We could even make a move potentially as high. If we get some bullish GDP numbers tomorrow, we could start making a move up closer towards 64,000. That's not a major breakout by any means. The big thing we got to pay attention to in the next couple of weeks probably is getting over, let's go back out to the daily chart here, is getting back over this breaker block between 66,600 and 68,300, give or take. That right now is a level of bearish reversal that is the last stop for the bears before it becomes very apparent the bulls are back in control. I would love to see price get back up to this level, but if we reject on this, there still is a chance you could start to work your way down and stay boring for a long time. However, when, and I do think it's a matter of when, not if, when we break this bearish level of a breaker block, whether it's here in the next couple of weeks, whether it's next couple of months, that to me will be a major sign that the bulls have recaptured full control and new highs are on the way. Now, let's talk about a reason why those new highs could be coming sooner rather than later. There's always still going to be a fluctuation of bearish stories and bullish stories. We're not going to cover this one in depth. Maybe if Caleb brings it up, there was a story put out that the American government had just moved Bitcoin to Coinbase. I think the number's somewhere in the realm. There we go. Look at T-shirt right on top of it. 240 million Bitcoin moved to Coinbase. People are going to try to throw that at you and say it's bearish. I'm kind of ignoring the noise on that. The thing that's actually catching my attention is a rumor coming from Twitter based off some recent remarks from Michael Saylor in a case that a very large organization might be partnering with Bitcoin here very soon. T-Shroom, what is happening here?
Well, it's exactly what you said, Tim. I mean, it's exciting here. This is the picture that was posted by Michael Saylor, kind of implying here that it could be Apple's turn to pick up some Bitcoin. Of course, long ago, it seems like ages ago, but I believe it was in late December 2023. It was discovered that the Bitcoin white paper had been on the mini Mac OS operating systems for years. So it's pretty interesting. It's not Apple's first soiree with Bitcoin, but now they could be taking the next big step, as predicted, kind of insinuated here by Michael Saylor. So it's bullish. It's bullish to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's one thing because I saw an article that referenced this T-shirt, so it sparked my interest, right? I was like, okay, this would be really cool if Apple purchased it. I went to that picture, and here's what I'll say. That it is an Apple, and it does have Bitcoin on it, but it's not necessarily the Apple's company's version of Apple, Alphabet's version of Apple. But what's interesting, there was another article put up, and I don't know if you have access to it and got any details highlighted, but the reason this is significant, if you go to my screen here, yes, there's a tweet from Michael Saylor that says, take a bite, that has a Bitcoin symbol on an apple, but it's also on top of the fact that he has actually been discussing now in recent interviews that Apple could be about to go big in Bitcoin. Apple isn't just now. Like, if they were to buy Bitcoin today, this would not be their first Bitcoin purchase. If you Google Apple buys Bitcoin, you're going to find articles from 2023. You're going to find articles from 2022. This wouldn't be their first big event into Bitcoin. But what he's alluring to and he's flirting with is the concept, could Apple, still one of the largest companies in the entire world, especially in the financial part of it, being able to use Apple Pay and other versions to transact money, could there be something in the works behind the scenes where Apple is moving big time to adopt Bitcoin into their payment system? If that were the case, that would be absolutely huge. It's just one more step for adoption, but even more so, it's a step that would allow the everyday person to feel more comfortable holding Bitcoin in a way, even though I don't recommend transacting your Bitcoin back and forth. The concept of knowing I can store my money at all times and have easy access to it in the form of Bitcoin and other altcoins makes it more engaging and more available to say, you know what, I'll hold a little less USD, I'll hold a little more crypto, and that would cause prices to go to the upside for certain. So while it's yet to be confirmed, I want to make sure people walk away from this understanding the details. There is no confirmation. There is no official announcement from Apple, from Tim Cook. Tim Cook has not made any major announcement of Apple doing something huge with Bitcoin. But Michael Saylor is not a unknown person. Michael Saylor is a very wealthy, well-connected guy. And for him to be flirting with this concept on recent interviews and today to be putting out a massively flashy tweet about it is not a mistake. He knows something. What the details are, we'll have to wait a little bit longer to find out. But I do believe something huge. I thought something huge was coming to Bitcoin anyway. If Apple is part of that spark, that would just make it all the more enjoyable throughout the rally.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's exciting. It's exciting for sure. Let's see. There's another story here, Tim, about the renewed bullishness expected after Bitcoin Ether $10 billion options expiry on Friday. You know, important. They're essentially a complex way that traders will take profits. So after this expiry, we're expected to potentially be a bottom and a resumption higher. Is that kind of how you're reading this one?
Yeah, well, and again, we talked about that before, and I referenced it. We're going to bring this back up when Caleb comes on here in roughly about 13 minutes. He's coming back on here in 3:30. But yeah, option expiry is set at 55K max pain. I know for Bitcoin, I actually, off the top of my head, I don't know what the number for Ethereum is because 6 of that 10 billion is going to belong to Bitcoin, which of course means 3.5 is going to belong to Ethereum. Mm-hmm. As long as the price stays over those price action levels, all of those open positions will remain open. If it drops below there during the time of the call, then billions of dollars of Bitcoin options would be wiped out, eliminated, and that could cause some major bearish pressure on the prices of crypto. But again, while we still today sit more than $5,000 on Bitcoin over that max pain point, it is still feeling comfortable at this point to say we should end up beating it. And again, if we pair that with positive GDP numbers and positive PCE numbers, these could all three be a catalyst as to why Bitcoin heads back up closer to, if not overcoming 70,000 in the next week or some change.
Absolutely. And just to add on that, it seems like the market is kind of taking in stride and finally digesting the German selling of Bitcoin and the Mt. Gox headline. It seems like, when we first saw those headlines, we've been in crypto long enough to know that those are FUD headlines, right? They're the German headline and the Mt. Gox headline, they have some teeth. They're not completely coming out of zero evidence at all. But, we've seen things like this before. And if you just look at the numbers, those events are undersized compared to the buying that we've seen in 2024 for Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're going to transition here. We're going to talk about Cardano for the next 10 minutes or so. Real quickly, though, we have a mutiny in chat from some OG moderators that are paying money to make me say something. I want you guys to know I will read them because they are super chats, but I do it under protest. Matt C., and I'm not going to do it the way they want me to do it. Matt C., member for 6 months, said, Hawk, period. Thank you for that, Max C. Crypto Sec Guy thought he would add to it with another super chat of $2 saying, Tua, period. So those are unrelated, in case you guys are wondering. They have nothing to do with each other. Thank you for those super chats, gentlemen, and we love you. Let's go ahead and get into this time. Before getting into the charts, let's start off with a story because something happened to Cardano yesterday that should have been something detrimental to the space, but ended up becoming a net positive. T-shirt, what is happening in the world of Cardano today?
Absolutely. I feel like Dan said it pretty well over here. The Cardano blockchain went under a DDoS attack, but remains fully operational because there is no single point of failure. This means that the load is spread out, making it super tough for any attack to take it down. Plus, Cardano's security measures are top tier, designed to keep things running even under pressure thanks to its decentralized design and robust security. Cardano is handling the attack as intended. Cardano is just built different. Thank you, Dan, for posting that. That's a really helpful kind of clarity for folks who are there, really in the trenches that understand DDoS attacks and everything like that. Overall, though, it looks like Cardano is kind of taking it in stride. What have you been seeing on the charts as a result of this kind of scary but positive event?
Well, before we get to the charts, let's just kind of camp out a second on what the details were. So if anyone who's newer to crypto, maybe you're still one of the people on the fence about Cardano. Is it going to make it? Is it old? This is what happened. Most other cryptocurrencies, if they had gone under this level of a DDoS attack, would have at least had some problems. They probably would have had to go down. They would have had to make major urges to protect themselves and stay secured. Here is the proof in the pudding of why Cardano is going to make it long term. And I think that events like this actually serve like a bulletin board of advertising as to why companies and projects should choose Cardano to host their services on. Why? Because when a DDoS attack happens, but you do it on a blockchain that is fully decentralized and also fully secure, who has maybe taken the slower approach. Maybe they haven't produced things the fastest like other blockchains out there, but they've taken the slow but steady, secure, and decentralized approach. And this is exactly why that pays off. Because on the event and when it happens, it's always a matter of when. It's never a matter of if. In the world of technology, in the world of hackers and chaos and scams, you're going to get attacked left and right. The problem is, the question is, are you prepared for those attacks? And Cardano just proved it. They are the most secure. They are the most decentralized blockchain out there. And the price is something that might not be super sky high right now, but price will follow the fundamentals. And fundamentally, Cardano just proved itself on a major scale. As far as the charts are going here, T-Shim, if you go to my screen here, I'll show you what the charts are doing. We had been in here more recently a falling or descending megaphone pattern. And while we're kind of still flirting with this green line, the former resistance level, you do see that Cardano in the last 2 days is working to break itself out of there and head back up above 40 cents. We are cooling off right now, just like the rest of the market is as well. But there's still a lot of reason to be optimistic about Cardano's movements here. If we were to come and look at the oscillators, similar to Bitcoin, we've bottomed out here more recently. We were 100% oversold. The MACD, even though today's more of a bearish day, is continuing to go bullish, and we are very, very close to a daily chart MACD bullish cross. And then you have the Luxago oscillator sitting in a very similar spot to Bitcoin, where we've had the reversals, we've had the recent bullish divergence, we've had the massive green dot of momentum where we've reversed the strength of the movement hitting down here at 6 on the oscillator. But the last thing we need, we just need the money flow. It's technically still above the bearish threshold, but we need it to give us a sign of strength and positivity. When that happens, we will have our three-pronged attack, the buy signal we need on the daily chart for Cardano to feel more confident. And I think that it's only a matter of, again, this Friday is going to tell us a lot about how crypto should be moving. My main target I'm going to be watching somewhere here around 44, 45 cents, where we have the smart trail. We also have a bearish breaker block, similar to Bitcoin. If we reject on this level, even though you don't want to necessarily have to wait to enter any long positions, get above it, the confidence you'll have that the bulls are back in control kind of rest with this level. If we can get above it and start to head back up towards 50, then we will see a transfer of authority on the daily chart from the bears officially to the bulls. But we do have to see more bullish price action happen before that happens. It's one of those things. There are traders who wait for these types of confirmation moves. There's traders who get aggressive and try to predict them. I'm kind of sitting somewhere in the middle. I didn't buy the exact bottom of Cardano's pullback, but I did buy here the other day closer to 37 cents. And I'm feeling more bullish as we're working to break through this green line of resistance. I'm looking for long positions, probably where we currently are, with the thought, the expectation that if Bitcoin continues to go bullish, altcoins will not be far behind. Yesterday, I told you guys about Total 3. Total 3 is a chart that tracks all of cryptocurrencies except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It has recently bounced off of its own level of support. And while there are levels above us of resistance that are interesting, there's a lot of reasons why this level coming down to 561 billion was a very strong level of support. And we should be seeing total 3 and the altcoin space move to the upside. Because that is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're going to look for other coins in the top 10. We're going to be looking for the Solanas, the Ton coins, the Doge coins, the Cardanos, the Trons, the AVAXs, and Chainlinks. These are the ones that will have the major input on what Total 3 does. So with Cardano being one of those top 10 coins and that chart looking the way it does, it's one of the ones that I would expect would have more of those gains and causations to rally back to the upside. Now, I'm seeing before we transition here a little bit more, I see NCR Legend says, Tim, please read John comment. All right. Well, John, he said, look, let's see. I think John, first of all, John is definitely comes in here every day, supports us with the views, but he's not always a fan. I'll respond to John. Love John here. How about you look at ADA of Bitcoin pair chart? That will tell you the true facts about ADA. Well, first of all, no, it won't. I'm going to look at it, John. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you for the chat. But I'm going to start by saying no. Just because a chart is either bullish or bearish at one moment does not tell you the exact long-term pressure. But I will take a look at what is happening. Right now, we're actually under a buy signal on ADA over Bitcoin when you're looking at the daily chart. We are wrestling with that daily smart trail. When we break above it, and I'm going to say when, because it will happen, whether it happens right now or later down the road, when it happens, this will be the confirmation that actually the bulls are back in charge. If I come and look at the oscillators, I actually see a lot of positivity here in play. Now, stochastics RSI looks like it's back overextended, but right now, the RSI actually just crossed back above the 50 line for the first time since back in March on the 3rd. So that's actually a major sign of the bulls coming back to being in control. Let's keep moving on, though. Our MACD has recently crossed bullish on the Cardano over Bitcoin chart. And my last one, the Luxembourg oscillator, recently, within the last couple of days, flashed a very reliable buy signal. Green reversal, green momentum when we were down at 9 on the RSI. And, of course, now the positive money flow. So, John, no, this chart actually is telling me a lot more about why Cardano could be about to gain out on Bitcoin. It's going to be a long time before we see it get back up to some of the highs. Again, these highs will not happen until closer to the actual bull market. But when you take a look at where Cardano has recently in past bear markets pulled back to against Bitcoin, we're sitting in a similar spot, very close levels to previous bear markets where we bottomed out and then moved back to the upside. I'm not expecting an exact repeat, like a fractal pattern of this, but what I will say right now on these more macro timelines, we're seeing more of reasons to say that this should be reversing to the upside more so than to the downside. It's just about a little bit of patience and understanding how four-year cycles work when it comes to crypto and money flow. So thank you for taking us that direction, John. You're welcome anytime here at the channel. Just smash the like button or the dislike button. Honestly, YouTube treats them the exact same. It means engagement. Shout out to you.
Speaking of engagement, we had a bunch of people shout out where they're from. Alex Mathis said Idaho. B-Ball Golf said outside Chicago. Carlos said Mexican, which is close to the prompt, close enough. Ryan Rainier said Indiana. Crypto Bad Fox said Texas. Moho said Evening Bros, UK calling. Got the Bay Area representing, Dub Nation, Orange County, California. Tony Estrada, very close. I think he's cousins with Servando Estrada. Canada, Quebec, Canada. I've been there. It was snowing in May, very northern. Another Canadian here, Richard Ben. So you got to love it. And while we're here, Joseph Laposa said, thanks for the beginner profile videos. Absolutely. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen those, we had a lot of fun. I believe it was Saturday of last week where we went through and just talked about excellent projects and maybe some not so excellent projects to have or to sell in your portfolio. Go back and watch that on the Investing Bros YouTube channel. So
we had a super chat come in. I know Caleb's about to come in here in just a second, and we're going to get into some more conversations with him. But super chat here, not about Hawks or quarterbacks of the Miami Dolphins. Speedy Stock gave $5, said, what's your opinion on Coinbase? It says this week. I'm pretty sure it's just Coinbase this week. Let's take a look at those charts. T-Shroom, I don't know if you have any fundamental updates there. I will say Coinbase had been rallying here. Let's go to the daily chart. I'm on the weekly chart at the moment. Coinbase had been rallying in what was called a rising channel. We told you guys, actually, I don't even know if I did it on this channel. This might have been something that I did when I was on with Stocks with Josh, one of those shows. But I talked about this rising channel more often than not ends up breaking to the downside. Guess what? We've gone a little bit further than I thought we could have gone originally, but we have broken out past our great level of that breakout for that fall down. So this is now something to start looking for reversal opportunities. You're going to notice there's also a zone that we had drawn on here before. Very strong levels of support down around 206 to roughly 219. We bounced almost just perfectly off of those. Let's see what else is happening from the indicator. If we drop lower, I really like what I see right here with an order block in the place around 200. So that's going to continue to be support. We are below that smart trail. We've turned it bearish. So to recapture this and feel more bullish long term, we really need to get back up above this red smart trail and this order block here around 257. However, I do think the signs are there that this could, I think there's maybe a little bit more pullback here on Coinbase before it goes up, but I see some signs of some positivity here on the daily chart. For example, we're overextended on the stochastics. We're not quite overextended on RSI, though, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Same with MACD. Not really necessarily seeing the signs that we have to reverse right here. When it comes to this one, though, this is giving us a sign that even if we pull back on Coinbase a little bit more, we're back to being overextended when it comes to the Luxembourg oscillator. We have our green reversal. Very slim money flow, if any, but we're starting to slow down the strength of the bearish movement. I do expect the next couple of days to probably get a green momentum dot here as well. What's interesting, though, about this is that the oscillator is lower than way back here, despite the fact that price is higher. T-Shirt, what do we call it when the bottoms of an oscillator go from a higher low to a lower low, but the price action does the opposite or diverges?
Bullish divergence.
Bullish divergence. Those are bullish indicators, people. So is Coinbase bottom in? I'm not going to say that. I think that is close. I do think there's signs on the weekly chart that the bottom is getting a little bit closer here as we are seeing the RSI return back down towards that 50. I'm still very bullish on Coinbase long term, and you should as well. They're housing pretty much all of the major institutional money going into ETFs. But with that said, no, I don't necessarily think that buying at 212 means you're going to be buying the very bottom of this dip. The things I'm looking at on the daily chart heavily suggest Coinbase could be pulling back just a little bit more before that rally.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Caleb is going to be joining us here in just a few seconds. He was on and then he popped off. I do have one headline here. This is the headline that seems to be resounding when it comes to Coinbase, which is U.S. government transfers 4K, 4K Bitcoin, like 4,000 Bitcoins, to Coinbase. Other than that, there's not really anything going on. Caleb,
and that's not how are you doing that's today? Not really going to have effect on the Coinbase price. But yeah, we'll transition now. We'll get back to this conversation later. Caleb Franzen is with us. What is it doing, boy? Good to see you again. Guys? Good to see you again. Good to see those hairs of yours. Those are my favorite parts of you. What's going on, man?
How's Europe for me?
How's Europe treating you?
Chilling, guys. Everything's going well. I decided yesterday I'm headed back to the States. I'm going to head back to California for like 6 weeks or so.
Cool.
So yeah, booked my tickets yesterday. I'm all set, ready to rock.
Very cool.
Right.
Oh no, am I losing connection?
No,
I mean we still have you.
You're coming through pretty good. I say that now, and it looks like he's
as soon as we say that, he ends up freezing. So that's about right.
Oh no. Yeah, well, it's a good time to talk about the sponsor for the show today, which is actually Arculus. So Arculus, if you're looking for a good cold wallet, a place to store your crypto where it's the safest it can possibly be, look no further than Arculus Wallet. Tim, you use Arculus Wallet, and so do I. What are some of the most favorite things about it that you have?
Well, first of all, it's the ease of access, getting things on and off. I've used several other cold wallets before to protect my crypto. Some of them, turns out they're not as good at protecting your crypto as you would originally think, but they also can be extremely frustrating and time consuming to get the money on and the crypto on and off. So there's a thought, though. I mean, some people are going to say, oh, well, Tim, isn't it the easier it can get on and off, the less secure it is? Well, that's what makes Arculus so cool. Not only is it probably the fastest and easiest cold wallet to use, it is also the most secure. There's not a single worry in the world. They haven't had a single case in the millions of cold wallets they've sold. Not a single case has someone been hacked and had their funds stolen. There's no backdoors, unlike some other cold wallets out in the space. There's no backdoors where the government entities can come in and try to confiscate your crypto. That is the epitome of security. The cool thing is, if you lose your phone, no problem. You're secure and you can still reload it later on. If you lose your keys, there's ways to get it back. This is the most secure and safest and easiest cold wallet you're going to find out there. And what's really cool is if you use our link and use code BROZ10, BROZ10, you get 10% off as well. So hard to beat all those deals. Go check out Arculus today.
I think we've got Caleb back. He may have gotten on a different device. Yeah. So let's see. Boom. There he is. Oh. Can you hear us? Can we hear you, Caleb? How are you? Uh-oh. That's the internet.
That's not a good sign.
Not good. We may have to go without our Franzen analysis today. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to reschedule, have a Caleb Franzen Thursday or something.
Yeah. We will continue to monitor the situation in the background. But for now, we'll move on. We'll press forward.
Yeah. Let's do this real quick. And I want to make sure people understand. I want to engage with as many of you guys as possible. I do. I always get a kick out of it when we have trolls in chat or people who seriously don't like us. John, love you, buddy. Love seeing you in here. When you ask, why is Cardano falling against Bitcoin over the last 3 years? It's called a bear market. I know I responded to you in chat, but I want everyone else to watch because you're going to keep commenting here, and I can't respond to every comment you have. You are more than welcome to your own thoughts, John. In fact, I encourage you to think for yourself. I encourage you, if you don't like Cardano, do not buy it because that would be violating your ability to do your own research and to think for yourself. That being said, the reason why Cardano falls against Bitcoin the same way almost everything has fallen against Bitcoin, and I say almost because not everything has, is because traditionally in bear markets, Bitcoin picks up more dominance and continues to go against Cardano. Again, when you guys look at the Cardano charts, going back and looking at them, you're going to find several times in past bear markets where people thought the project was dead. I'm telling you right now, continue to do your own research. Think for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what to buy and what to sell, but I'm here to help suggest things and also help you see things from clearer pictures. And what I'm telling you right now is it's not altcoin season just yet, but there are signs that it's coming soon. And there's reasons right now to be stacking and loading your bags with some of these altcoins, some of them like Cardano. And when you see fundamental analysis like what we saw today/yesterday with this DDoS attack, it's hard not to feel overwhelmingly bullish about that as a long-term solution because people saw that, people realized. And when a project maybe listed on another layer one, I don't want to say one because I don't want to pick on other coins. I'm just going to say, when a project that has built and worked very hard to build their coin or their cryptocurrency into the real world on a certain blockchain, and then something bad happens to them, they get frozen, they lose accounts, they get hacked. That's very discouraging and very painful. But when they see what Cardano just did, the chances of them flipping over and deciding, you know what, I actually do prioritize security. I actually do prioritize decentralization. And if I do that, what's my number one option? Today, we just proved it was Cardano. So you can look at the price and you get upset about the price. I'm a big believer, though, price is downstream from fundamentals, and fundamentally, Cardano is still extremely strong. Let's transition, though. John, thank you for being here. Love you being in here. Thank you for challenging us to give more explanations on why Cardano is still good. Let's talk a little bit. By the way, shout out to Mind Your Biz in chat saying boop. Shout out to him. We have to connect with Mind Your Biz sometime. Talk about a world of knowledge about the deep states of these altcoins. That is a guy you definitely want to go follow. Caleb Franzen says, fam, sorry. Not sure what's going on. Internet is running just fine, but the stream software freezes on me after a minute. That's completely fine, Caleb. We're going to reschedule you. We're going to get you back on because we need to hear your thoughts about the markets. Today, though, you get to hear me and T-Shroom. Love you too, John. Thank you. I love that. I love the heart. Love you being here. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about with Caleb, T-Shroom. And ultimately, it's just going to be you and me going back and forth.
Sure.
But tomorrow, big day tomorrow. Where is it? Did I get rid of my post? I think I'm going to have to go ahead and reload this. Give Give me just a second. You can go ahead and share my screen here. But tomorrow morning, T-Shroom, I want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you've gotten to give your thoughts on this one just yet. So despite the fact that we lost to Caleb, we still have a T-Shroom, and this is a good thing. GDP tomorrow. Coming out in the morning. We will be going live, everybody, at 9 o'clock. It's coming out at 8:30. We will be going live in the morning to talk about what the numbers were and what you guys should expect over the next 24 hours. But it's coming out tomorrow. The previous quarter-over-quarter GDP was actually really good, 3.4%, especially in light of more recent expectations. But tomorrow, the consensus is 1.4%. The forecast is 1.3%. So there's a lot of expectation that we'll have a less favorable, still positive, but less favorable GDP number than the previous quarter. So, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, to me, the GDP is a bit of a nothing burger, right? Because this is the final. This is the final, meaning that we've had this GDP print, I think, 2 times now. This is the final GDP print for Q1. We've already had the GDP print. That's what it was. It came out at 1.3. Previous was the one before that. So it's a nothing burger unless it isn't. And the way that it wouldn't be a nothing burger is if it got revised down to like 0 or something negative, right? If something in the economic data that the economists at the whatever bureau they're coming up with these numbers at, if they found something, corn actually skyrocketed or whatever GDP with actually sold hundreds more Fords than they thought they did or something like this. So I think that's probably not going to be very impactful to the market. I think it's going to be the PCE, which does that one come out on Friday as well? I believe
PCE is going to be the bigger one. Yeah, that's Friday. We haven't gotten there yet, but I think it's great context there. It's the final. Ultimately, if it stays the same, it shouldn't have any impact. What we're looking for, but there's a chance if it gets revised, like you said, down, that could have some bearish effect. There's still going to be somewhat of an impact, but if it ends up finding out we had a better GDP than originally thought, there's a chance the price goes up. But I'm in agreement with you, T-Shroom. Of the 3 things happening over the next 40-something hours, I guess it's actually 30-something hours because it's mostly in the mornings, that probably would be ranked number 3 on the importance scale of what crypto looks like over the next week. We're going to move into what we get on Friday. So before we actually move to PCE, because this is what happens Friday, that will come out at 8:30. Before then, you can take the screen down. We got to talk about the options expiry at 55K. Are you afraid, T-Shroom, at all that Bitcoin will be dropping below 55K before it's going to be somewhere like 3 or 4 in the morning Eastern Standard Time? Maybe it's 5 o'clock. I can't remember. But it will be more than likely when you and I are asleep. Are you at all scared that Bitcoin will tempt us or get close to or below that 55K mark?
I don't think so. I think my actions speak, for themselves. I bought more MSTR today. I bought MicroStrategy's. That's the way that I'm kind of getting exposure to Bitcoin these days. I have my reasons for that. Ask me in the Discord if you want to learn more. But the thing is like they've thrown all the FUD at us that they've got, right? And when I say they, I mean, the corporate media, the corporations that can both invest with their other posse of Wall Street actors and also, spray headlines at retail. They have both of those weapons, right? And so that's a combination for manipulation. And so these FUD articles about Mt. Gox and about Germany selling and about the U.S. selling or moving money onto Coinbase to potentially sell. It's not that there's no teeth behind these stories. There are some teeth, and that's the reason why we've covered it here on the Investing Bros. But it doesn't have me shaking in my boots. I'm so far from the sell button on Bitcoin, it's not even funny because we've seen this FUD, and the reality is that now we're kind of nearing the end of that FUD cycle with the big one, which is usually, the U.S. is moving their coins around, and that's going to be a huge sell-off event because the U.S. and China do have about just under $15 billion worth of Bitcoin under management, and they could potentially move the market a little bit if they really wanted to. But we've seen the headline trotted out again and again and again, but they don't actually do it. They don't pull the trigger. So that's kind of the way that I'm feeling. Is 55? Probably not, because there's not much more FUD to throw at the market. There's not much more of a sell thesis out there.
Yeah, I mean, a big question is going to be, is it even possible? I mean, they made a grand gesture to try to get down there the other day. I want people to remember, or when I say remember, some of you might not know this, so I'm going to teach you about this. Ultimately, why does price correct? After a big rally, price will correct. But what is happening during correction in all reality? Someone's got to be selling, okay? You can't just have a bunch of shorts on the market and that alone gets you to go down. They also need to convince people to sell. They got to increase that liquidity so that then the manipulation effect is they can come back. We're talking about whales and institutions can come back and buy the dips. But they're very smart about how they do that. And they'll continue to put pressure as long as there are short-term holders who are scared, maybe they don't really know what they're doing. As long as there's short-term holders willing to sell, they'll keep dropping the price. But what we've seen recently, and I'm not saying it's impossible to go lower, because it actually is. It definitely is still possible. But I've seen a lot of exhaustion. They've thrown everything along with the kitchen sink at the Bitcoin and crypto prices, and they've struggled to drop prices lower. Let's take a look at actually what's happening here when I switch back over to my crypto prices. Whereas Bitcoin, if you go back to my chart here, T-Shirt, where Bitcoin hit kind of prices we hadn't seen in a couple of months. I mean, the last time we hit this level, it is a strong level of support, but where we're at back in May, when you take a look at what altcoins were doing, let's just look at Cardano, for example. Cardano kind of came down here to 36 cents and defended this for multiple days. If you were to take a look at Solana, for example, came back to levels that it had defended before here in May as well and defended that level once again. Mm-hmm. The volume came up, everything came in, suggesting that if they could get prices to go lower, they would have. The problem is nobody else, at least at this time, has wanted to sell. And they've already given us all the bearish news that they can throw at us to convince us to sell these prices. So ultimately, the whales will take what they can get. And right now, there's a lot of signs that what they could get was about 58,600, and there's not a lot left in the market to go because it wasn't just them that bought the dip. I think a lot of retail even bought the dip. Long-term holders bought the dip. When people saw less than $60,000 on Bitcoin, it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. You got to buy it. What does that communicate? The short-term sellers, they're coming to an end. There's barely any left to sell. There's no liquidity. So the whales, they can want 55K all day long. They could want lower than that. But if no one's willing to sell at 60,000 and the lowest they could get was only 58, they're going to take what they can get. They're going to buy up this dip because, as I told you guys yesterday, I can't promise you what tomorrow will be. I can try to predict it. I can give you some analysis on what it is. But what I can promise you is the one thing. I can promise you that buying today is better than buying 2 weeks ago. I can promise you that buying today was better than March 13th. And I can promise you that buying today is going to be better than years from now. So the way the whales think is they're going to do the best they can to buy as low as possible. But their predictions, their thoughts are, I need to buy cheap Bitcoin because years from now, when the price is sitting up at 200,000, and then 5 more years from now, when the price is sitting up closer to 1 million, I want to have bought below 70K. And I'm going to do everything I can to do that. And I think we're seeing the signs show the pressure to be able to go any lower and get any closer to 55. There's just not enough people willing to sell. This is still an extremely strong, bullish trend and bullish market that we're in, despite the news, despite the pessimistic feelings, despite you reading a couple articles that says, oh no, Bitcoin might crash. The charts, the data, the on-chain analysis all suggest Bitcoin really only has one direction to go from here, and it's up and to the right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, the last thing here, T-Shirt, and we're going to get into some Q&A here. We've had some good Q&A on the show already. It's been a fun show, a very fun show, getting to talk with you guys. The last one, just give me your thoughts about the last detail, PCE numbers. I talked about this the other day. The reason why I think this is important, and I want you to add to it and give your thoughts, but everyone likes the sexy CPI or the inflation data. That's the one that it always catches a lot of headlines. But ultimately, one of the things we're watching for right now, T-Shroom, is the decision from and this is why I wanted Kalo to be on here and talk more about this, but it's okay. We'll get him on here very soon. The PCE numbers will have major impact on the Fed's decision on when and how to cut the rates of the interest rates. So to me, I see this as being extremely important, but what do you think about this, T-Shroom? Anything you want to add to that thought, or is that kind of your thought as well?
Yeah, that's pretty much in line kind of with what I'm thinking. The real question is what is that print going to look like? Is it going to be bullish? Is it going to be bearish? I think right now with where we are in the market, I think if we did get a bearish print, meaning an unfavorable print, meaning PCE to the upside, kind of showing, I've got it pulled up here, if we saw a tick back to the upside and PCE came up in 0.3 or 0.4 even, that could potentially send the market a little bit lower, right? The forecast, however, let's take a look here at the forecast is looking at it to be, let's see, 0.1, right? So if we came in at 0.3 or 0.4, right, that's not good. That's no bueno. That's telling the market, hey, the Fed is more likely here to go ahead and wait to cut rates further into the year, and possibly not in 2024 at all. Rate cuts are beneficial for risk assets. They tend to historically push risk assets higher, and if we're not going to get that boosting force, then that generally can have a negative effect on asset prices. So PCE, we want it to come in favorably on Friday when that prints, and I'll definitely have my eyes locked on it for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're going to wrap up that part of the conversation. We're going to transition into some Q&A. We will have a factoid of the day here in a second. We got some super chats in here. Got to go back. A big $50 super chat from Matt C. Okay, so the rebellion is over. He says, for being a good sport, please enjoy a nice dinner on me. Go Bruins. As UCLA. Hockey just ended, so I'm thinking, I was like, he's not a Boston Bruins fan. And they also weren't in the finals there. But yeah, he's talking about UCLA, college football. We'll have to talk more college football and some community stuff. Speaking of community stuff, tonight, right after the show in Discord, T-Shroom, myself, Crux, a lot of you guys, if you are a YouTube member and you're in our Discord, we have our membership stream right after where we chill. We talk about crypto. We talk about sports. We talk about life. We've talked about marriage before. That's always a fun conversation. Crypto Sec Guy with another super chat said, Caleb must be using a Solana phone. And just like their chain, it stops working. LOL. All right, listen. Stop the hate. We're not in here to poop on any coins.
Yeah, you went by it pretty quick, Tim. But if you guys were interested in joining us in the Bro Time today, go to this link here. You get access to the free investing bros. And then just make sure that you get into the pro levels so that you can be in there in the bros the Bro Time today.
Got a couple more super chats here. Brad's crypto, is that New Zealand money? I don't know. NZ $8.99, but I don't know
so.
I don't know how that. Thank you for the super chat. You didn't say anything, Brad's. If you have anything to say, let us know. And the last one I have here, Eric Wallen, $5 says we will only be accepting Hawk Tua chats in $100 super chats from now on. I see what you did there because yours is only $5. So you just had to slip that in there on the cheap side. Gosh, goodness gracious. All right. Thank you so much for that. Get your questions into chat. We'll be doing some Q&A here in a second. Username says, if Tim says it, can we put him in timeout? What did I say? I mean, I have to say it. It was in the super chat, but I'm not going to talk about what it is. Because then you could put me in timeout if anyone convinces me how to describe what's happening there. Yeah. Then yes, you put me in timeout, and you can't do it. I'm a very very hard-headed, stubborn person. I'm not going to do it.
Everybody's just really excited about one of my heroes, from the early 2000s, which is Tony Hawk. He was an inspiration to a lot of people, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a fun meme.
And T-Shroom, I watched Hawk Tua.
Okay.
Tua. Yeah.
Is that like Tony Hawk 2.0?
It didn't land. It went off better in my head because I was trying to say I watched him too, and then I was just going to throw. Anyway, let's just go into the factoid.
Mission failed.
Maybe I'll win that one.
Well, of course, the factoid of the day is brought to you all by Arculus Cold Wallets, the cold wallets we trust with our crypto and keeping it safe. But Tim, what is the required annual income to afford the median priced U.S. apartment rental? Is it $71,000, $68,000, $66,000, $61,000, or $58,000 annual income? What do you got, Tim? Come on, bring the heat, baby.
This is super dirty because those are all really close to each other. So literally any of them could be the right one. I'm going to do some process of elimination here. I'm going to eliminate E being the lowest one and just saying it's not going to be that one. I don't think it's going to be all the way at 71,000 either. I'm really wrestling between 61 and 66. I don't know which one I want to do. And let me just comment before I give my answer. How crazy is that? That those are the levels that you have to afford a medium-priced apartment, to rent an apartment. I grew up, T-Shirt. Just fun fact, I had 4 siblings.
You grew up?
Well, sometimes. I grew up with 4 siblings. A mom who homeschooled and did not work, so we were a one-income household. Mm-hmm. And the best job my dad ever had, I think he was only being paid it's like 75 or 80,000. He was an architect, which today probably gets paid a lot more. But during the time of growing up, he supported my family. We weren't like wealthy or anything. We didn't like go on like crazy extravagant trips and do all that stuff. But we did things. Like I had a very enjoyable, fun childhood. Played sports and everything else. I look back on it and I'm like, how the heck did we afford that? I mean, obviously money was different, but today it's like, man, yeah, it's hard. It is hard to live off of that much money, and that just makes it so sad that you have to be making over 60,000. So I'm going to go with 61. I'm going to say right over the line of 60,000. D is my final answer. 61,000 is what you need to have to afford a medium price apartment.
Oh, Tim, you were so close.
That's my second option.
Cabesi Letter has reported U.S. renters now must earn $66K a year to afford a typical apartment, the second highest amount ever. And Tim, hold your breath for this one. The New York median income needed to afford an apartment rental is now a staggering $119,000 per year to walk around something that is very chaotic and very crime-ridden, but beautiful, I will say. New York is beautiful. Okay, Tim, you can stop holding your breath.
Thank you for that. That's crazy. My brother lives in New York City. He definitely does not make $119,000. So I wonder what a median. I wonder what the definition of median household is. I think my brother is probably in the realm of like 60,000. And they
well,
live,
median.
They're there.
From my statistics classes, median is just, it's not the average. It's what the most amount of people in a given population pay. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's get into some chat here. I saw a couple of coins people wanted to take a look at. B-Ball Golf 72. What's your expected price decline percentage from the bull market tops? Yes, he asked this earlier. Great thought. I don't even think I need to go to the charts. I think as the markets mature, in fact, actually, I say that I need to go to the charts because I have to show people kind of the logic of what I'm working with here. I think that we are depreciating the bear markets, right? Meaning the bear markets keep getting less and less aggressive with Bitcoin. If you were to go back to the bear market of 2011, you're going to see the price action declined 93% back in 2011. Then you go to the bear market here in, roughly 2014, 2015. The bear market ended up pulling back 86%. So got a little bit better there. Bear market in 2018 pulled back 80, almost the same, went to 83.6%, but still slightly better. But then this last bear market, not anywhere near necessarily as bad as those ones. It kind of finished right in the range. I say near, it got near, but only at 77% pullback. However, the reason this is important, not only is Bitcoin as it matures, but as we are currently operating, it's not pulling back. It gets less and less major pullbacks each time. But these four were all pullbacks that happened without heavy institutional money involved, meaning there weren't people's retirements on the block here. Now, maybe some people like me are like almost thinking, man, my crypto portfolio is my retirement portfolio. But as far as most things, people's 401ks, people's long-term plan, masses of wealth in the United States from institutional money was not on the docket here for Bitcoin. That is changing in this bull market. So I've said this before. I'll say it again. I see, if you go back to my screen here, T-Stream, I've put that my price prediction target is in the realm of roughly around $200,000 in Bitcoin's price by 2025 in the fall. I think, again, this is keyword I think, but I think this is actually very rational thought. I think that we will probably see roughly a 50% pullback. I don't foresee the institutions heavily involved in Bitcoin allowing it to pull back much further than that. What does that kind of put it at? I think that we possibly pull back down to roughly $100,000. Guess what that means, though? Guys, if I think that the top of the bull market, and if you agree with me, this is how you need to think. If I think the top of the bull market is sitting at $200,000, if I think there's a 50% pullback, and that means we will bear market bottom at $100,000, and the current price is 61, what should I be doing with Bitcoin right now, T-Shroom?
DCAing. Buying.
I should be DC. I should continue. When people ask, when should I stop buying Bitcoin? If you agree with the rationale I just said, I would tell you, you should stop buying. Maybe, don't even consider stopping buying in the DC strategies until we're over $100,000. Why? Because you'll never get the opportunity again in your life to buy less than $100,000 Bitcoin.
Satibio Shimoto said 25K. Let's go. I think he's talking about the sub count, not the price of Bitcoin.
Very, very close. What are we sitting at currently? It's 24.6 last I saw.
24.6.
Yeah. We grow so fast now. You blink. It's 24/7. No, we're at 24,703 subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being a part of the Bros community. If you guys enjoy it, you gotta smash the like button. And if you're new here, be one of the first 30K guys. Be one of the first 25K.
Yeah.
Subscribing today.
Exciting.
You got about 300 more slots. Let's see. What else do we have here in the way of questions? In case you guys are wondering, always a lot of questions here, and we're going to do the best we can to answer as many as possible. But if you want to for sure have your questions answered, T-Shroom, we just started a new membership. People can purchase Lux Algo and get into our VIP trading group. People can purchase our membership options, which actually, I want to encourage you guys to get Lux Algo. When you purchase Lux Algo, you get access to our VIP trading group, plus you get an amazing trading indicator. But theoretically speaking, if you want access just to be in that group and ask questions, you can go over here, show my screen here, T-Shroom. The Pro Bros also get you access to VIP trading for only $37 a month when you buy a whole year. Now, it doesn't come with Lux Algo, so some of you might still want to go purchase Lux Algo as well. But if you're someone who's saying, you know what, I don't need Lux Algo, I want to just ask Tim questions about overall trading, guess what? That's your option right there, $37.49. Guess what else you get? You get a free hat. Which we do have to order hats. We got our hats in, and they ended up being very different than what we thought we ordered. So those are coming. I think they get in tomorrow, so it's not like a major delay. But you get a free hat. You also get access to a one-on-one once a quarter with myself, T-Shroom, or even Crux. All of us have been investing in crypto for a long time, can help you very much. You guys will get to have a one-on-one where we can help you think through your portfolio. We're not going to tell you exactly what to buy, but we'll help you think about how to structure your portfolio to gain as much wealth as possible. We can review it once a quarter to help you know when to take profits and when to keep adding to those bags. Sign up today, the Pro Bros, if you want to learn more about trading and you want to get more access to me and T-Shroom. That's your number one guaranteed way to do it. And a couple more questions though before we head out.
Yeah, and Tim, the way that you can do that, everything that Tim just said, that sounds good to you. You can go get sign up for the free Discord, and then you want to go to the membership channel in the free Discord, and that's where you'll sign up. But it all starts here at this link. You're watching this video, you scroll down, it's the first link in the description. Tim, you see any other good questions? And by the way, my mom hasn't even got a hat yet. She's pointing this out here in the chat. And then
that's
Eric
the last
Wallen
thing
said,
you want.
T-Shroom, get your mom a hat. I think she'll probably have to be one of the first ones to get a hat.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get her a hat here.
Got
ASAP.
mine right there.
Just we get the new hats in, and then it'll come. Shout out to Mama Shrum. Funny question. Username says, but Tim, I need you guys to tell me to buy Link. It's how I purchase. I'll tell you this right now. This advice is for no one in the entire world except for Username. So everyone else, put your hands over your ears for a second, because this isn't for you. Username, go buy more Chainlink. All right. What else do we have here?
Can I take a guess at what you said, Tim?
No, you're not allowed to do that. Joseph Gunter said justing, I think, somewhere in between 1K to 2K. I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
Maybe he's responding to someone in chat.
Yeah. Bro time today, guys. After the stream, don't forget, bro time. Be kicking it off right after the stream.
What is Shroomy and Tim's favorite soup?
My favorite soup to say is gazpacho soup, but I will say,
what's the definition of soup? Is a good question. What constitutes being a soup and not being a soup? Because here's what I'll say: a soup. Shouldn't cereal constitute soup?
No.
What's the definition of soup then? If it doesn't include cereal?
Let's see. Let's see what the definition of soup is. It is soup. A liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish, or veggies in stock or water.
Can we go down? What else does it say? A substance or mixture perceived to resemble soup in appearance or consistency. You can't use the word in the definition, so that's stupid. All right, we'll go with the boiling. So you don't boil your cereal unless maybe you're making is oatmeal a soup? It's not meat, but then that takes out all vegetarian soups. So I think we have to remove the meat part and just say it has to be warm. That being said, I'm not choosing oatmeal or any type of warm liquid or any type of sweet dish like that. I'm going to say, that looks good. Whatever that is, that looks
good. It's more of a stew.
I'm going to say, especially if you're in the northeast part of the country, if you're in New England, a good clam chowder, which should be in the soup family. I know it's chowder, Oh, Jack Davis said that. Yeah. Not clam chowder out of a can from your local grocery store. I don't think I would order clam chowder if I was visiting Nebraska. Sorry if you're from Nebraska. I'm just not ordering it from there. But if I'm in Boston or Maine, there's not a lot of places that serve bad clam chowder up there.
Mm. You're a little partial to the clam chowder of it all. What I'm hearing.
I am. Cheddar and broccoli is also very good, but I think clam chowder takes my number one.
Yeah, I'll eat canned cham chowder. I'll eat it. What is it? The Progresso is the brand here in Publix down in the South.
I don't like them. I've had it. I don't like it. BC Pork Corp said, I live in Nebraska. Smart choice. Get the catfish here. Yeah, if it's something to do with like something you produce locally, I might give it a try. But yeah, ain't no clams out in Nebraska.
Look at this one.
Those are coming from a long way away.
That one's got the clam shell still in it. Is that more or less authentic for you, Tim?
Hey, that seems fresher to me. So let's give it a try. Let's go one more. Let's get one last good question in here. These have been some fun ones, but let's get a good question. Might have to scroll up to see a little bit more here. Trick Shots just says render. I'm going to assume that means render charts. Let's end with some render charts.
Let's do it.
Don't we? We talked about this before again here, guys. Got a nice bounce in the last week off a nice level of support here, closer to $6.70, give or take. What's the long-term perspective of render? A lot of support. Hit the weekly charts, take profit on the short that came in a while ago over here. Bouncing off that bullish smart trail. What's our oscillator saying? Bouncing on the 50, overextended on the oscillators here. While we do have a little bit more bearish momentum kind of in play at the moment over here, we've been in a bearish spot for render now for a while. So the weekly not showing the return of the bullish strength just yet, but that easily could come in sooner. Let's go a little shorter time frame here. Again, major support with a very strong bullish order block. Hit the center of our take profit there as well. Look for a bounce back on render to potentially run into some problems in the area of 860, give or take, where we will have a bearish smart trail in play on the daily chart. However, this is where we are starting to see the bullishness come in on the daily chart. Stochastics is gaining momentum. The RSI is gaining momentum. A bullish cross. I've had a lot of slurs today. A bullish cross on the MACD just happened yesterday. And over here, take a look, guys. We got our bullish reversal. We got our bullish momentum. And that right there looks like the beginning. Let's see how today closes. But that looks like the beginning of positive money flow on the daily chart for render as well. Once again, though, where do you stop the momentum? If we can get above $9, we reclaim the bullish strength. Until then, there will be some resistance probably in that $8.60, $8.70 zone. So a short trade opportunity, or a long trade opportunity, I should say, up into the mid $8 range. Longer term, though, we will not get the overwhelmingly confidence until, again, over $9 once again for render. If you guys want to do more of that TA, though, again, you got to join our memberships, and I do that all the time over there with our VIP group.
Tim, just to finish off on the render section. Render, if you'd been in the Discord, you'd know in the paid Discord that Render was the last crypto that I bought. But you don't know, and I won't say here on the stream what I swapped it from.
I didn't hear that.
I swapped it from something into Render. I'm gonna let you guys know in the bro time for sure. Kind of my thinking on that. We're about to kick that off here in just a couple of minutes, so very exciting.
All right. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what you got to do. You got to smash the like button. Those of you who are newer, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We love you guys. Members, we'll see you here in just a couple of minutes. The rest of you, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Live show at 9 a.m. Don't miss it. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.
Investing grows. Investing grows. Investing grows. Investing grows. Investing grows.